Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, everyone. So sorry, my mic was muted. How's your day? It's a beautiful day. I'm here today for another edition of School of Parenting Online Conversation. How are you doing? How's your parenting journey been? Yes, we've had amazing conversations this year, and this is November. God has been faithful to every one of us. And I believe that every conversation we have had has been a wonderful one that we have learned from and that we have implemented, and things are getting better in our parenting journey. Like I always say, parenting is hard work, but regardless of the fact that it is hard work, God has given us the ability to be able to go on this journey and become successful parents. Yes, we're having an amazing topic today. Excuse me, not the year is actually gradually coming to an end. This is November. A few days from now, we'll be getting into the month of December, and 2023 is over, and we're in 2024. So we're having a wonderful topic today for discussion, preparing for the new year as a parent. We don't have to get to our destinations before we plan. We do not have to get to our destinations before we prepare. There is a saying that preparation precedes performance. So as parents, we need to start preparing for the new year. What are we going to start doing? What will we stop doing? Are we going to plan for the year? What's the preparations for the outcomes we expect? So that's part of what we're going to be talking about in this conversation. If you're watching me right now, I want you to just drop an emoji or a comment on the comment section so I can know that you're with me. So it promises to be an amazing conversation today. So I'm not going to waste our time. I'm going to invite our guest right away. I'm going to read our profile so we can get into this conversation. Now, Ufuoma Iyare, also known as the Queen of Literacy, is a graduate of Accounting and Finance and holds a postgraduate diploma in education. After graduation, she worked in the bank for several years before moving to the educational sector. She majors in teaching, reading and literacy. She has taught English and reading at the early years, primary and adult education level, where she records 95% success in teaching learners who have been termed difficult to teach reading. She runs a literacy academy where she trains teachers on Jolly Phonics. She conducts her schools in her area of specialty and has trained so many schools on setting up a star reading program using the Jolly Phonics model. To date, she has trained over 1,000 school owners and educators and has consulted for several schools around the country. She's happily married, and yes, she's a mother of 3 amazing children. Yes. So join me as I welcome right now to the stream. Let the drums begin to roll as I welcome Mrs. Ufuoma Iyare. You're welcome, ma.
Thank you so much. Good evening, Pastor Kitty. It's always a pleasure to be with you. Thank you so much
Good
for this opportunity.
evening. Good evening. How's your day been?
Fine, and I guess yours was fine too.
Yes, amazing, stressful, me too, but we are here. We're holding on.
You are
so,
a
so,
hard
so,
worker, I can imagine.
so it's wonderful to have you today on SCP Online Conversations. I believe that those that are viewing right now, they are anticipating a lot. They're anticipating a lot. On this platform, we learn a lot. We receive insights as of parenting, and we are so excited. I am so excited to have you here today because I know your caliber of knowledge. We're ready to tap into it. Okay, so quickly, we're going to be talking about preparing for the new year as a parent. So, as parents, there are a lot of things that has happened this year. I think we've had ups and downs, we've had successes, we've had challenges, but regardless of all this, we are still parents and we are still standing here. God is actually faithful, actually faithful. So I think the first thing I'm going to ask is how important it is for parents to reevaluate their year. Now, is it important for parents to do an evaluation of how this year has been before they even think of planning for the new year? What is the place or how important evaluation is reevaluation?
Okay, thank you once again. It's always a pleasure to talk about parenting. Um, yes, one of the things that I get to that is common, with parents is that they think that parenting just happens by happenstance. It's a default thing. And so there's no need to plan. So, I mean, anywhere parenting takes us, we go. Unfortunately, it is not supposed to be like that. So, yes, planning for a new year is important. But whilst you plan, you need to be able to take a look at the year that is ending and say what went well, what didn't go well, so that you can then plan based on the successes and of course the failures that you recorded in the year that is just ending. So yes, even if you're going to plan, the planning will start by taking stock of what you
Sorry,
had
Miss
done
Uma,
in the
we can't
previous
hear
year.
you. We can't hear you anymore. I don't know if I'm the only one. We can't hear you. Please, if you're watching, can you hear? Can you hear our guest, please? Can I get some comments? Can I get on the comment section? Can you hear, please? If you can, let me get someone on the comment section to affirm if you can hear us, please. Can you hear us? Can you hear us, please?
Hello, can you
Anyone
hear me
watching
now?
right now? Can you hear? You can
Can you
hear
hear
me.
me?
Can you hear the guests?
Hello?
Please, can you hear our guests?
Hello, can you hear me?
I'm waiting for comments.
Hello?
Okay, okay, ma. You can go on, ma.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
I can't really hear you.
Okay, let me see. Let me make some adjustments here. Hello, is it better now? Is it better now?
Okay. I could hear you initially, but I can't hear you anymore.
Wow. Is that network?
Mr. Puma, can you speak? Then, if please, when she speaks, if you can hear her, just let me know you can hear her, please. Mr. Puma, can you speak? Then, you can speak, ma.
Okay. So, as I said, it's important that as you plan for the new year, you take a stock of where you've been, what you've done in the previous year. That will help you to make a better plan as you plan for the new year. What you've done in the previous year, that will help you to make a better plan as you plan for the new year.
Okay. 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 That's very true. Very true, because it's very important that we reevaluate the previous year and or this
Exactly.
present year before we even think of planning for the new year. Because if we do
Sure.
not evaluate this year, how would we know where we are or the things that we need to change or the things that we need to improve on? So I think it's very important for parents to evaluate their present year so that they can be able to plan for the new year. You know, most times people tend to plan for a new year and they don't even sit down to like what happened this year? How did we fare this year? A lot of parents do that, like, oh, next year is going to be a wonderful year. We're setting up our goals, we're setting up our plans. What happened this year? Do you even know what happened in your home this year? How was the
Exactly.
relationship with
Exactly.
your children? How was the relationship with your
Exactly.
spouse? Did you do well in communication? Did you achieve the goals you
Exactly.
set? So I think, like you said, evaluation is very critical. I think that's the first thing we should do as parents for planning for the new year. Have a family meeting and have evaluation. Very key. So we'll just go straight into the preparing part of the new year. So what is the place of preparation in our parenting journey? What is the place of preparation in our parenting journey? How important is preparation?
Okay, so we preparation is important. Like I said, in this part of our climb, people, especially when it has to do with parenting, we can prepare for exams, we can prepare for a marriage, we can prepare for a burial ceremony. We prepare for everything except parenting. But for persons who are taking out their time to prepare,
Yeah.
you cannot compare a child whose parents are they know what they are doing, so to speak. They've taken their time to prepare with a parent who is just, going with the flow. In parenting, you can't go with the flow. You must prepare. And Fortunately, it's never too late to prepare. Now, if you've been the type that has been nonchalant, you've not really taken out time to be a parent who is intentional, who is making sure that he's preparing, then it's never too late. You can start. Now, you talked about the place of preparation. I want to point out that now there's a fad, set up goals for your children and all that, and sometimes it can be pretty overwhelming, especially when you have up to 4 or 5 children. So what I recommend is, as a parent, that is where the place of taking a stock of what has happened in the previous year. How did my children fare? How did I, even as a parent, fare? Not just your children. How did I fare? Did I do well? Was I able to communicate effectively with my children? Were they able to speak to me? Was I a part of their academics? Was I a part of their lives this year? And then when you look at what has happened, and you see that there are places that you can make amends, that you can be better, then you begin to work on them. And I always say that I plan and prepare for my children based on where I saw lapses. It doesn't matter if, for instance, my child has a friend, or I have a friend whose child is the same age with my child, and my friend says the goal for her child is so and so, and because that is what everybody is doing, I choose to now go and do that. No, it will be per child. What does this particular child need? For instance, 2 years ago, or was it 2 years ago, last year specifically, my 4-year-old needed to learn how to read, whereas my girls learned how to read by 3. He had not learned how to read by 4. So the goal for that holiday period was for him to learn how to read. And I gave it my all. It didn't matter what any other person was preparing for their children or what the goal was. My goal for my son at the time was for him to be able to read. 2 years back, my goal for him was to get to love the Bible, to get to build a relationship with Jesus. So we gave him colorful devotionals and we read to him every night, and it became a custom. So at different points in the children's life, you will have different goals. So the goals will differ based on their needs and based on their age, for instance. Now, during the holiday, this past holiday, my 14-year-old daughter, everybody was learning one thing or the other. And I said to her, she said, oh, her friends were learning how to sew. And she told me she wasn't interested, that she didn't like sewing. I was a bit disappointed because that is what I wanted her to do. But I asked her, what will you like? She said she will just, since I've told them to try to learn how to make hair, that I can't be taking them to hair plaiter every time. She went to learn how to make, and she's been happy. Even if every other person around her learned how to make clothes. I thought that she would like to learn how to make clothes because she's very fashion conscious. So I thought, oh, she would like that. She said no, that the act of sitting down on the sewing machine just, gets her tired. So the point I'm trying to make is that for every child, the goal will be different per time. At some point, it was they needed to learn how to cook. At some point, it was they needed to learn how to be independent. Now they are pretty much independent. I can leave my girls at home and they can do a lot of things that will even amaze me. They know, okay, we need to do this at so and so time, we need to do this at so and so time. So my goal for next year will be different from the goal of another parent who has not learned, who the children have not learned to be independent. So yes, the point is your goal for each child should be based on the need or the weakness that you perceived in a particular period. Yeah, so that's it.
Good. You've said a whole lot. You've said a whole lot. That's so much. I like the part you said that you can't just go with the flow. As parents, you cannot just go with the flow. How now? You're just okay. Let us be flowing as parents. That's people want to parent by default. You can't just parent by default. Okay, we'll just have children. Let's see where we end. In parenting, you don't just let's see where we end. It's something that you plan and prepare for. I like that. You don't just go with the flow. Then you said something that planning should be per child. So you're
Sure,
planning for your children, you should take into consideration that every child is unique. Every child's needs is different. So what this one child may need per time is different from what the other child needs. And you really said something that you don't plan based on the plans other people have for their children. So
sure.
a family may have a plan prepared that these are the things we're going to do as a family, as parents for our children. So you not what's the word now? You don't adopt their own plan and copy and paste. Yes, that's the word. Copy and paste in your family because you don't have the same children. You are not living in the same environment, so you
Environment.
can't just copy and paste. Ideas are nice. Parents have good ideas. Sometimes you can modify and see if it works for you. But you don't just go to
Sure.
people's homes and say, okay, this is what people are doing now. Oh, nice, nice, nice. You just copy and paste. Whereas you have these different children, they have different needs by time. So I think what you said is so critical. Different phases of their lives, different ages, there's different things they need. So it will help in fostering our preparation for them when it concerns or comes to the new year. So I like that part a lot. I like that part. So
Thank you.
now, are setting parenting and family goals important as the new year approaches? Setting parenting and family goals, is it key for us to that? As individuals, we set personal goals, we have business goals, we have different goals, spiritual goals, health goals. So, do we need to have family and parenting goals for 2024? Is it
Yeah,
important?
very
And how do we
key.
set
I
those
mean,
goals?
for families, each family is ideally, even if we know that not all families do that, each family is supposed to have their values. All right. So it is your value as a family that will help you in crafting the family goal per time. And it is that family goal that will now help you to craft your personal goal and then the goals for the children. All right. Now, so for instance, if and then, of course, it also has to do with where you are at every given point in time. I remember a friend of mine who was transferred from the particular state she lives in and transferred to another state. She couldn't take the children to the new state because of a couple of things. And at that point in time, she needed to have a place to keep her children. And coincidentally, her sister is very good with children and all that, and she could trust the sister. So that year, they had to go and live with the sister. So it will also depend on where you are as an individual at a given point in time. Now, for the instance I gave, if she was transferred and she had a goal of teaching her son to read, for instance, it would be almost impossible if she was the one that was going to do the teaching herself. So your family goal, like I said, your children's goal will depend on your family goal, and your family goal will depend on your family values. And of course, the goals will also depend on where you are per time. I'll give you another instance. I have a friend too who said she didn't want to work. She wanted to stay at home and homeschool her kids. And it was fine because she knew the kind of things she wanted, the value she wanted to see in her children and all of that. And she didn't work for the longest of times. She had just clocked about 18 or 20 years in her marriage, and for the first time in a long time, she has decided to work. So her goals have changed because of where she is at that point, at this given point in time. She now feels the children are grown. She's been able to instill certain things in them. She feels comfortable to leave them at home or leave them anywhere because she knows that they can stand for themselves. Because I think they are teenagers now. One is almost getting into the university. So she has actively started putting out her CV, talking to companies. I think she's even gotten a job. And we're all shocked because she had never worked. She had even never wanted to work. So, like the point this illustration is bringing me to what I said, that your goals will depend also on where you are in your life at a particular time. If, and then again, those decisions are also tied to finances. For instance, if your child is a child that is very easy to convince. This child can just sway with any opinion, and you feel like this child should go into some sort of mentorship. And the mentorship costs, for instance, I know of some mentorship programs that cost 100,000 naira per year, and you are a sit at home mom. It's going to be practically impossible for you to pay that money if it is only your husband that is working, and he probably doesn't earn as much as being able to part with 100,000 naira for a mentorship program. So some of these things, these goals and all that, will depend on a variety of things. Like I said, your values as a family, where you are at a given point in time, the age of your children, the needs that you see, and finances. Finances is very key, because there are some things that you want to do for your children that you want your children to learn, or their weaknesses, and you can't teach them, and you have to pay somebody to do it. For instance, you want to teach your children how to swim, and you probably don't know how to swim, but you feel that, okay, at this point in time, these children should know how to swim because they're going out into the outside world and all that. Or you want to teach them how to, you want to put them in a karate class, or one of these whatever. So finances, unfortunately, it has a lot to do with how you'll be able to meet the goals that you craft for yourself, for your family, and for your children.
Wow. Goals. Setting parenting and family goals, critical, very, very, very important. And for one thing I can get from what you said is that definitely some families already have family goals and parenting goals, but there is a place of reviewing these goals, because you might have achieved some of them you may not have, but you need to review your goals because your children are growing older. You are not in the same place you used to be.
Exactly.
Over the months. Your finances may not actually be where they used to be, and some of your goals may not. What's the word now? You may have some goals that financially you're not even capable of achieving them now. So I think there's a very critical area of reevaluating your goals per time, so you know if you're actually achieving them, if you are meeting them, what else can you do about them. And I think a goal is not really a goal if you cannot even see it every time. How do you assess progress if you don't even see the goals you have set? Setting parenting goals is key, because if you don't have parenting goals, how are you going to judge the progress of your parenting journey? How are you going to judge that you're succeeding? How are you going to judge that you're actually what's the word, succeeding as a parent? If you don't have parenting goals, for example, you have a parenting goal that you're going to improve connection with your teenage child, it's a goal. Some people don't have connection with their teenage children. They look like strangers, aliens in their houses. And a parent decides to have a parenting goal, I'm going to build connection with my teenage child. How do you assess progress? What is, if before we know, we start going to goal setting, and that's not actually the essence of this conversation. Then we'll talk about goal setting in another conversation. But it's very important, like you said, we need to set goals. We need to review our goals and see where we are at per time. So, what strategies can parents adopt in balancing work and family commitments in the coming year? It's not a prayer for the new year. What strategies can we adopt? Parents are so busy trying to make ends meet, trying to work, trying to keep the children happy. Maybe for mothers, trying to do the domestic chores, a lot of things dragging for our attention. But what strategies can we use to create a sense of balance between our work and our family commitments in the coming year? What strategy? Are there strategies we can to help us so that we are not losing on both ends, or one end is suffering and the other end is losing?
Okay, so that's very key. You have to have a balance, work-life balance, as it were. One of the things that helps work-life balance is first to make a decision that this is what you want. I want to make sure my family, we have a certain level of connection, communication, family time, and all that. You want to also be able to. So the first thing is to decide. Secondly, it's part of also reviewing the year. How did I fare? Was I able to balance work life and all that? If you need to change jobs, if you need to ask for more time off job, you need to delegate responsibilities. Some of these things, yes, are tied to finances. Some of them may not be tied to finances. You may just need to sit down and think of where you can cut back so that you can have more time for your family. Like somebody will always say that the children are not going to be with you forever. So whilst you are looking for money to take care of them, you also need to be able to plan to communicate with them, to have that fantastic relationship with them. Because in a twinkle of an eye, the children have left home. And if you didn't have that communication, you didn't have memories that they can look back on, you didn't have fun times, it's going to be difficult to have that eventually. I wanted to say rekindle, but there will be nothing to rekindle because you didn't even have it in the first place. So decide to delegate. It's very important to delegate. So if you have the opportunity to have um, people at the office, if you're a career person, that you can delegate some responsibilities to. If you don't have a PA, you may need to get a PA so that person can help you and then you can have more time. You need to have a house assistant or a housekeeper who can help you in all of those things. Personally, I've always had housekeepers. I don't joke with them because doing house chores alone can be very demanding. And I discovered that when I do a lot of house chores, I'm tired. And at the end of the day, I don't want to speak with anybody, including my darling son. Just let me sleep. In fact, I'm on the edge because you can't have me having I've been working all day and then suddenly you also want my time. I can't give both. We have to choose one. So I've always have, even at the worst of my financial times. I mean, people will look at me and say, "Ah, but you say you don't have money, but you are always having a house assistant." And I prefer older women. For some reason, I prefer them, and they are very fantastic. So, as a woman, you can't overemphasize. Don't some women believe that no, they don't need people to help them in their homes and all that? And if that is what you believe, it's fine. If you're able to cope. For one, I'm not a lazy person. I'm very good. And the problem with me is that when I start house chores, I don't stop. I take pleasure in doing house chores. The more I clean and this place is looking cleaner, I feel like doing the next room. I feel like doing the next. And before you know, I'm going on and on. And everybody is wondering, when are you going to stop? And then when I'm done with that, I don't even want to speak to anybody. Go and sleep. Go and take care of yourself. You know, sometimes I used to tell my daughter then, my second daughter, I'll say, you are so selfish. She will say, Mommy, what did I do? I said, but you see, I've been working. Now, suddenly you want me to come and do homework with you. Homework that I've looked at and I know you can do it. She just wants my attention. I'll say, you're so selfish. Well, I've had that quarrel several times. You know, so I have learned that for me to be able to give my children my time and the best of my times, I need to delegate responsibilities, whether at home or at work. That's very key. Again, you need alone time. Oh, my children know that this is so. Once I get into my room after doing chores and all that, and they come, I say, oh no, we can't have this conversation now. This is my alone time. I need to refresh. Everybody knows, my husband knows. Once I get into that space, they know it's my alone time. And usually my husband will tease me. My husband will say, you like yourself, Sha. Those are his words. You like yourself. You've come to hide here to enjoy yourself alone. You know, but I need that to be able to refresh. I need that to be able to reboot myself, to be a better mom, to be a better wife, to be a better whatever hat I'm wearing. So that's key. You need alone times. You need to go and refresh. Sometimes you need to take out a vacation. I mean, and vacation doesn't have to be something expensive. It doesn't have to be you are flying to Botswana or somewhere. You can have a vacation right there in your house. Sometimes, you know, even when I don't have so much, I make sure once my husband is around, oh, honey, I want to go to my mom's place. I want to spend 1 day or 2 days, and he knows what it is about. I just want to get out of everybody's face and just be alone. My mom will say, what did you come do for here? I say, Mommy, I came to rest. She will laugh. But that helps me. When I come back, I'm refreshed. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to give you my time again. So you need to be able to do that. Of course, you need to be able to save so that you can give your children the best times. So there are many things that you will do to be able to have that work-life balance. Again, if you need to change jobs, like I said, at some point I needed to change my job. I had to stop working in the bank at a point, and then I had to totally stop at some point because it was interfering with my mental health. I felt I wasn't giving my children enough, and I believe so much in family. So at some point I needed to stop the job. I mean, with communication with your partner, because again, your husband, your spouse has to be carried along. He has to believe in what you believe in. Now, I'm just talking about women. Also, men have their role to play in terms of work-life balance, because just as much as the children need their mom, they also need their fathers. Fathers play a huge role. So fathers too need to be able to also do work-life balance, because men are so into their work, they come back home with work, they do that, so they leave everything for the moms. So it's also important that this work-life balance is not just for the women, it's also for fathers, because they have a key role to also play.
Mm. Wow. A whole lot, 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 a whole lot of a whole lot flying around today. We need to take some time to digest everything. I hope those of us that are watching are getting something. If you actually are, you can drop something in the comments. Let us know what you are actually learning from this entire conversation. Everything she's saying, there must be something that hits you personally. So you can drop a comment. If you have a question, you can also drop a question. Now, you said for when it comes to work-life balance, we must make a decision. Balance is one
Yes,
thing that
that's
is very
important.
difficult because most times you get swayed away or carried away with maybe the work, and before we know, we're like, we're trying to provide for this house, we're trying to provide the good life for the children. And sometimes when you provide the good life and for the children and you do not have the children anymore, you ask yourself, what was now the essence of everything? Because you
Sure,
can be trying to do everything for the children and you lose them. What I mean, lose in
sure,
quotes, not that
sure, sure,
they use this word,
sure.
but you find out that you do not even have a connection with them anymore. There's no communication, there is no love shared between your children and you anymore. So balance is a very big word. Most times people are like, can we really find a balance? But the truth is that we can find a way to have our children with us, have a good family, have a good life with our family, and also succeed in our work. And you said something takes decision. It always starts from there. I like the part
Yes,
you talked about delegating. We need support systems. When it comes to
fantastic.
family life and parenting, we need support systems. It can be your mom, it can be your dad, it can be your siblings, it can be people you pay. But we must always find a way to have support systems at one point in time. Because
Sure.
sometimes the work is really cumbersome and it looks like you are
It's
breaking, it looks like you
overwhelming.
are drowning. So we need support systems. Very important. It helps you because when you are stressed as a parent, you can't deliver your best. You can't. No
Exactly.
matter how much you love your children, when you are stressed, you can't deliver your best. That is when a lot of parents are yelling a lot. There's nothing happening in the house, you're already yelling. A child pours water on the floor, you're already yelling. Don't you pour water on the floor? Or, for example, the child, maybe your teenage or your preteen is washing plates and broke the plate. You are
Ah,
screaming your
that
head
one is a
and bringing the
capital
water
thing.
down. Don't you break a plate? Most of the times, the reason why we go off board with this is because we are stressed. So we must find a way
Sure,
to
sure.
vent the stress. We must release stress, and sometimes we release it on our children. On our children. Before you
Somebody
know,
has
just
to
say
go
you're giving
through.
back close. The child don't know anything. Don't just unleash hell on the child. And you're like, for that little thing. And later the parents will start like, hey, I wouldn't have done that. But stress level is
Yes,
high. So we must find a way to have
very.
support systems, no matter how little, to help us out. I remember somebody told me something that being a super mom does not mean you do everything yourself.
Yeah,
Likewise, being a super dad, being a super parent does not mean you are the one that does everything yourself. The bottom line is that what needs to be done is done. That's the bottom line. That's what makes you a super parent.
exactly.
What needs to be done is done.
Exactly.
Then you said allow time for yourself. I like that part. Sometimes I read a quote somewhere that sometimes as parents you may have to be a little bit selfish. You need rest. And that will take me to the next question, self-care. In planning for 2024, what is the role of self-care? Let our parents hear. Most times you don't take a break. You know, some parents feel like failures if they take a break and like, let me do something for myself. They feel like, no, I'm feeling as a parent too. I'm supposed to be, it's all about my children. What is the role of self-care in all of this? In preparing for 2024, where does self-care come into place? What does it do for us as parents?
I remember, I'll answer by telling you something that happened some time ago. I remember telling a friend of mine who came to visit me, so we're having a conversation, and I said, "Oh, that I mean, we got to this topic of taking care of yourself and all that." and sometimes just getting away. And I told her how that sometimes my husband works out of town, so sometimes when he comes, we just take a time off. We take the kids to my mom's place, or we have someone come over to watch them, and we just go and spend some time in a nice cozy place, spend 3 days or something. And she looked at me like, your house is big now. Do you need to go out of the house? And I laughed because she couldn't understand. So now, the point I'm trying to make is self care is very key. I taught a class, the challenge, 21 days no yelling challenge. And one of the days, the task I gave to them was self care. I told them, get your children out of the way. Whatever you enjoy doing, maybe as a single, you used to enjoy just watching movies, binging on movies, or you used to enjoy just reading, or you want to soak yourself in a bath while you read, please do something. So the women, it was like, like where I said it is a must, and you needed to hear the testimonies that came out of that particular task. In fact, a particular woman came and said she has never known a time where she did not yell. I mean, if a day doesn't pass without her yelling in her house, that she must yell is a given. Something must make her yell. She said, but that day she didn't yell, that she was so calm because she had taken time to do something she loved. I think one of them said she went to spend time with her friends. They just went to eat out or something. Another person said she just lay down in the bathtub, warm, and then she was reading. She loved to read novels as a single, but with the children coming in, she didn't read. And they said they all came and said, in fact, that there was almost nothing you would do that day that could offend them, even if you slap them, because they were quite relaxed. So the place of self-care is really, really taken for granted. If you are not, I have a new language now, Sometimes I tell my husband that hey, I paid my dues. Oh, me, I need baby girl life right now. And that is to say, we did a lot of things for the kids when they were growing up. Is it clothes? I won't even buy clothes because I want to buy for them. I will walk into a bookshop and I will spend about 50,000 just to buy books for them. And people will look at me and think that I'm crazy. I literally had no life of my own because I was raising kids. And I tell them every day, I say, I have no regrets giving that part of my life to you because I will have it no other way. But you see now, I'm a baby girl. And they will all laugh. Now I'm a baby girl, I'm taking care of myself. So it's important, and I'm better for it. There's less tension between me and my teenagers. There's less conflict because now I'm taking care of myself and I learn to see things. It's easier for me to see things from their perspective. And seeing it from their perspective makes me less judgmental and less, I don't yell because I now understand from their perspective. But if I wasn't taking care of myself and I was doing everything as a super mom, a virtuous woman, we have different interpretations for virtuous woman. Of course, we won't have the kind of atmosphere that we're having. So self-care is important. And there are so many ways you can have self-care. Take yourself to the spa, go and hang out with your friends, go for a swim, take a day out to rest at home, or whatever you love doing, or you just want to go and shop. Some people, I have a friend that her own baby girl, or self-care is just going to shop. So it really depends on the individual. What do you love? What is your idea of self-care? So whatever your idea of self-care is, go ahead and take care of yourself. Go ahead and be that person you want to be. Okay, I can't see Pastor Kite anymore. Okay. Okay, so while we're waiting for Pastor Kitty, I don't know if people can hear me. I don't know if they can hear. But while we're waiting for Pastor Kitty to come back online, we were talking about self-care. We're talking about self-care, and we said that.
So sorry, everyone. Sorry, everyone, for that slight break. So sorry, we have some issues over here. So sorry. I wonder if yes is still on. Can you hear me, please? Can
I
everyone hear
can.
me?
I'm still here.
Here, please. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Sorry for the break. Can we hear me if you're still live with
We
us?
can hear you.
Okay. Hmm. Sorry, everyone. Sorry, everyone, for that break. We have some technical issues. Okay, so we're going to continue before our guest comes back online. She was actually talking about self care, and it's very important that as parents we take care of ourselves. Very important, because to the level you take care of yourselves is to the level you be able to give enough assistance, enough support to your children. If you're not well taken care of, you cannot give so much to your family and to your children. Let us take self care as a priority. Let us rest. I know we need to take care of our children, but let us find time to rest, because the body, the stress will have a toll on your body, and we vent it out. There must always be an escape route for stress. And most times we vent out on our children, on our spouse. So let us, in preparing for 2024, let us look for ways that we can actually plan in rest time. Daily there should be like few minutes where you rest, where you relieve your stress level. When monthly, find a way, plan it into your schedule. Have a vacation with your spouse without the children. The children must not always be there. So especially when you have young children, toddlers, preschoolers. Most times they take everything. It's not easy because you have to watch over them, you have to care for them. So most of the time they take all of you. So you must find time to rest. Yes, I can see you. So sorry, we had some technical issues over here. Oh, so sorry. So, welcome back. We're actually talking about self care, and you were talking about self care. So, I'll let you finish on self care, please.
Yeah, I was done talking. I still went on even when you went off. So, I mean, basically, and that was what you were saying. I was watching you and I could hear you. We need to be able to take care of
Oh,
ourselves,
thank you.
rest when we need to rest. I take a rest on Sundays after church every Sunday. My family knows that that's siesta, deep siesta, is key for me to function properly during the week, the next week. So, yes, you need to be able to take care of yourself and become a better person overall. Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay, nice. When it comes to preparing for the new year, do you have suggestions for parents on how to Yes, I can hear you. When it comes to preparing for the new year, do you have suggestions for parents on how to create memorable experiences with their children, with their spouse, how to create memorable experience because it's very key. All the children we have after they leave the house is memories. And I always emphasize that we must find a way to create good memories with our children because when they have left, that's one thing that keeps them going. That's one thing that brings them back to you because you have created good memories with them. So, are there suggestions or ways in the coming year that parents can find a way to create good memories with their children? Do you have suggestions for our parents out there? Ways they can
Okay,
create good
we
memories?
know that parents are very busy. Thank you so much, Pastor Kitty. We know that parents are very busy. So what I started doing, and I could suggest or recommend for other people, is that we have a family time once every week, and that's on Sundays. So after my sleep, we have that family time as from 6. Sometimes we do it earlier. Maybe if I have a live broadcast or something I want to do, I could bring it earlier. So we have a family time, and the family time just consists of different things, depending on what the children choose. What I did was I started it at first. I used to be the one to create the schedule, what we're going to do, and all that. And eventually they picked up. So it consists of games, snake and ladder, card games, whatever you choose. Sometimes we go outdoors. Sometimes we depend. Sometimes we watch movie. This Sunday that passed, it was a movie. We started by wanting to know how everybody's week went. We will come and we'll have a quiet time. We'll pray first, and then we'll ask God to take charge. Then we ask, how did your week go? What were the wins of your week? And they tell us, okay, what were the things that you didn't like during the week? And they tell us sometimes it even happens to be a family member that offended them, or even me. And usually we will apologize. Sometimes we will say, oh, this happened because of that. And then we will now proceed to games or whatever entertainment we had on the menu. So that is, I mean, sometimes we do outdoor games. Sometimes my small son dictates what the pace goes. Sometimes he says, oh, he wants to play outside. So we all go outside and find a game that everybody, the other people choose their days too. The girls, the senior ones, they prefer movies. So they were the ones that actually chose movie for this Sunday. The boy knows that they wanted something else. But we make sure that everybody has a say in the family time so that you can start with that. Make it memorable. Some Sundays is dancing. We just go outside, the compound, and we dance. We play music for an hour non-stop. We're dancing different praise songs from one to the other, and it's usually fun because, I mean, for me, it's even fun for me because I don't know what will bring me outside to come and be dancing. But it usually makes us laugh. We laugh at each other's downstairs. We remember this person that danced like this in church, and we try to imitate the steps and all that. So you can have that. That's a memorable time. Again, apart from the ones you do weekly at home, you can choose a time once in a month where you take the children out and all that. There are so many things that you can do, but it's important that you find what the children like. If you have children that are grown, find what they like and use that as an opportunity to spend time with them. For parents that do not have enough time, there are so many things you can do. The men can um, bond with their sons when they are washing the car, sweeping the compound, taking a walk, going to the mechanic together, going to the car wash together. While they're in the car, they start talking about. There's so many things you can do. Praying for your children is also key, especially if the fathers are the ones praying, because we know mothers pray all the time, so it's no longer news. So, but if the father takes out time and says, "Come, let me pray for you, let me bless you," it's very dear to children's hearts. It's very dear to their hearts. So that's another thing you can do that is memorable. You can also tell them that you are proud of them when they achieve certain things. If they made good grades, if they did something, they answered somebody very well, they handled something very nicely in your absence or something, tell them how impressed you are. It's not only when they do the wrong things. When they disgrace you, say you are a disgrace. You don't know the kind of family you come from. No, it's not only in those times you tell them how you feel. If you are proud of them, they did something interesting, say it. Children hold this very dear. For teenagers, I read that they need to be hugged 12 times or how many times a day. It was funny to me. They need hugs. They may not tell you, but they need you to hug them. So hug them, hug your children. Uh, Hugs are a thing in my house. We hug as if we are drinking water because my children love to be hugged. So hug them. In some houses, they don't hug. Everybody is very uptight. So many things. You just find out what works for your family, what your children love. And I think I've given a few bits of information as to how you can create fun times. Tell them stories. My children love to hear stories. Stories about your childhood days. They love it. So I did this during my childhood, the naughty ones you did, the fun ones, and all that. My children know so much about my childhood, how I was in university, how I became called a certain name, General Fomsky, and why they were calling me that name. So many things. They love it. Tell them stories about their lineage, their culture, their grandparents, where you met their dad or where their dad met you or whatever it is. They love, I know my kids love to hear those stories. Sometimes my son, as small as he is, will say, Mommy, come and gist with me. Come and tell me those interesting stories you used to tell my sisters. So they love that. Especially when you tell them about where they came from. It's very key. Especially now that culture and all that is being watered down. The children need to know, if you came from a family of warriors, maybe in the olden days your family was known as a family of warriors, let them know. So you can then, as a Christian, you can then link it to your Christian lineage. So if the child is having fear, if he's a fearful child, you can say, "Oh, no, even in our biological family, we're a family of warriors. We're fearless people. Your grandfather used to be that." And when you start telling them those stories, you will literally see their eyes pop. Like, wow, it really impresses them. So those are times you could share with your children. There's so many things. There's so many things, really. We can't exhaust them today.
Thank you. So vast. So much. Memories, very key. I like the family time you talked about, having family time. I think that's one thing I've talked about over and over again on this platform. Parents must create family time. It's a good time to bond with your children in the midst of the business and everything. We can be deliberate in 2024 to create specific times for our families. And one of the easiest ways to do this, you have to schedule it. If you don't plan for it and you just wish it in your mind, okay,
They
I'm going
have
to
to
have
do
fun,
it
you will
fine.
never have deliberate family time. Parenting has to be intentional. So it's not like, okay, this day we're free, okay, let's have family time. No, it has to be planned, it has to be scheduled. So we know, like you said, every Sunday, there must be a time that you gather together, you have fun. It may not be so long, it may not be hours, it may just be some few minutes. It's based on family, but it must be a family time where you meet at a point, you talk to yourself, you ask questions, you laugh, you joke, a lot of things. I like the part of hug. You give hugs to your children. Hugs are so important. When you hug your children, don't be quick to let go. Hold them for some few seconds longer. Very important. Let the love penetrate into them. There is something that body contact does. Hold them. If they are trying to free themselves, hold them longer, few seconds more. And as you do that, speak words over them. It can be just words
Mm.
of affirmation. Mommy is proud of you. Daddy is proud of you. I love you. You are doing great. You are a star. Say something. Those moments, take them through. You don't know what those
Wow.
moments can do to your children. Let's not be
Mm.
uptight parents. We can't even say I love you to our children. It looks like a strange word. And some children, they've never ever heard their parents say I love you to them. So when people say
Yeah,
it to them outside,
yeah.
they're like, they're wondering what is happening. Let your children see I love you like, my parents is something that we do or we say in our home. Hold them, hug them, give them kisses on their cheeks. Let them feel love in that house. When children are loved to a point, when things happen to them outside, they are not moved because they've received so much love
Sure.
inside their house. So let's
Sure.
create those memorable moments. You also said something about complimenting your children. Don't always look for opportunities. You always look for the opportunity where you will yell at them, you will insult them, you will make them feel less, you make them feel not worthy. Everything they do that is impressive, give them a compliment.
Sure.
Encourage them. We must not, the words we say to our children must not always be words that make them feel bad. It's only when they fail, they're like, look at you, you have failed. What about when the child did better than the child used to be? Let us be able to observe and see little improvements in our children. We compliment not just their successes, we compliment their efforts. A
Sure.
child does not used to be cannot used was finding it difficult to read for like maybe sit down and read, and you find out that this child is putting effort. Compliment efforts, not only results. This day and time, parents in this day and time, we like results. It's only results we compliment, but you must learn to compliment efforts. You need to create those memories with your children. And you said something, pray for them and pray with them. They will remember these things. Creating memories spiritually, pray with them and pray for them. You can't
For
take
them,
God out of the equation. We have said so
equation.
much today. Our time is has gone so far. So we need to wrap up this conversation right now. We need to a lot of things we didn't even talk about. But I pray that we'll have the opportunity to talk about this again. Yes. So we need to wrap this up right now. So Mrs. Iyare, what final words do you have for us tonight, even as we wrap up this conversation?
I would say that as we get into the new year, you must remember that by strength shall no man prevail. You can't do it alone. You need to ask God. You may have asked God for help before, but this is a new stage in the children's life. They're adding 1 year. They're not going to be the same with the way they were before. So you must ask God for help. Number two, never get discouraged. Never get discouraged. Even if you weren't getting it right before, there is always an opportunity to begin again. And with God's help, you will have a second chance. The years that the locust has eaten, God will restore. I want you to know that because many times as parents we're blaming ourselves. Why didn't I do this? I wish I knew that. The day you start is enough for you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We need God in all of this. My strength shall no more prevail. It's the strength of God that helps us. We need God to strengthen us, and we must not be discouraged. In the journey of parenting, the ups and downs, but we must not be discouraged. If God has given us children, He has given us the ability to be faithful stewards in raising these children. So let's not be discouraged. Let's keep putting the effort. Let's lean on the Spirit of God. And I believe that at the end, we will come out victorious and we'll be celebrating because we will fulfill the mandate of God concerning us and our children. So thank you so much, Mrs. Ufuoma Iyare. We've had a glorious time today. We have learned a lot, so much information, so much. You see why? You see, I know you are going to give us full load package today, and we have received a note. I believe that many that have been watching, you have learned a lot, you have received a lot. Thank you so much, ma'am. We're grateful. We look forward to
Thank
having you
you for
again on
having
this
me.
platform. Thank you so much. God bless you, ma'am. Thank you, and
Thank
have a
you.
beautiful night. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
ma'am.
You too.
Bye
Thank you
bye.
so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Now, I believe I've learned a lot today. A wonderful conversation. The new year is approaching. We cannot enter into the new year unprepared as parents. We must be deliberate about our parenting journey. If it's important to us, we must sit down and start planning. Plan with God because God is the giver of children and God has a blueprint of every child. So we must be deliberate to sit down and plan concerning our family, concerning our children. Because a journey you have not planned for, you don't expect to get there or get to the destination successfully. You must plan for this journey. So 2024 is another opportunity for us to go through our parenting journey and be successful, but we must be deliberate, intentional in planning and preparing for it. Let us not get into the new year unprepared as parents. Let us not get into the new year unprepared as married people. Let's sit down as a family. In planning for the new year, gather your family members, have a family meeting if possible, and hear your family out. Evaluate this year. What did you do right? What did you not do right? Evaluate. Have a gratitude day. In planning for the new year, you must have a day where you and your family gather and you express gratitude to God because He is faithful. Now you have a gratitude day, you sit down, hear every member of the family out. The children, let them speak. What did we not do well this year? Why did we do well this year? Where do you think we should improve? Different areas. Did we communicate well as parents? Did you like what we did? Academics, evaluate the academics, evaluate your communication, evaluate your financial life, evaluate your spirituality, evaluate even health, nutrition in your home, evaluate keeping to time, schedule, keeping to schedules, evaluate if you followed your family values. There are a lot of things to evaluate. I believe that even as we plan towards this, I know the year is wrapping up, so many activities, but family is important. It is priority. Let us create time to have this meeting. And let us plan for 2024 because I believe it's going to be a glorious year. So we're going to be ending this conversation right now. Like I always say, to children, love is spell time. Let us look for time and spend with our family. We need to be present parents. We need to find time and communicate with our children. We must connect and build a bond with them. Thank you everyone for joining us and staying with us for this edition of School of Parenting Online Conversation. Next month is the last month of 2023. Yes. Our next edition promises to be amazing. You don't want to miss it. Yes, it's the last for the year 2023. I guarantee you. You don't want to be absent from that edition. So plan towards it. It's the last Monday of the month. So let's do well to schedule it and be present for that edition because it's going to be a compression of everything we have had this year. And I believe every one of us, we're going to be impacted, we're going to be enlightened, we're going to be educated, and we're going to be amazing parents at the end of it all. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you. If you have questions, you can send a DM. Follow us on our Facebook page and our Instagram handle is School of Parenting 1. That's number 1. So you can follow us on Instagram. You can like our page on Facebook. You can send us messages, a DM on our social media handles. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. To have a beautiful night rest and see you in the next edition of SOP Online Conversation. Bye.